Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into the legendary life of Steve Jobs, a name that needs no introduction. He was a college dropout, a brilliant visionary, and a ruthless perfectionist who, with his unique blend of technology and art, didn't just create products, he created experiences that transformed the way we live. His journey from a garage in California to the helm of a global empire is a masterclass in innovation, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of a dream. His early life was marked by a restlessness and a deep curiosity that set him apart. He was born in San Francisco in 1955 to a single mother, and at 4 months old, he was given up for adoption and was welcomed into the loving home of Paul and Clara Jobs in Mountain View, California. As he grew up in the heart of what would become known as Silicon Valley, he was surrounded by the seeds of technological innovation that would later blossom into his life's work. But his adoptive parents couldn't afford to send him to college. So, at the age of 18, he enrolled at Reed College in Portland, Oregon, a liberal arts school known for its free-spirited culture. However, he dropped out after just 6 months, finding the rigid curriculum uninspiring. He stayed on campus for another 18 months, auditing classes he found interesting, including a calligraphy course that would later prove crucial to the design of the Mac's beautiful typography. This period of his life was a testament to his belief in following his own path. He wasn't afraid to drop out of college or to question the status quo. He was deeply influenced by the counterculture of the 1960s, a movement that championed creativity, individualism, and a rejection of the status quo, values that would later become the core of his business philosophy. After leaving Reed, Jobs went on a spiritual quest to India, where he studied meditation and Eastern philosophy. This journey was pivotal in shaping his worldview and understanding of human potential. Upon returning to the US, he secured a job at Atari, a leading video game company where he met his future co-founder, Steve Wozniak. This professional relationship would soon evolve into a deep friendship rooted in their shared passion for technology and their rebellious spirit. In 1976, Jobs, his childhood friend, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne co-founded Apple Computer Company in Jobs' parents' garage. Wozniak was the technical genius, a brilliant engineer who had designed the Apple I, one of the first personal computers with a single circuit board. Jobs, on the other hand, was the visionary and marketer. He saw the potential of Wozniak's invention and convinced him they could sell it. They started small, selling the Apple I as a kit to hobbyists and electronics enthusiasts. It was a modest beginning, but it laid the foundation for something extraordinary. Their next product was the Apple II, a computer designed to be more user-friendly and accessible. Jobs insisted on a polished, user-friendly design, from the all-in-one plastic case to the inclusion of a keyboard and color graphics. The Apple II was a massive commercial success. It helped establish Apple as a legitimate player in the burgeoning personal computer industry and propelled Jobs into the limelight. By the early 1980s, he was already a legend in the tech world, known for his charisma, his relentless drive, and his almost mystical ability to predict technological trends. By the mid-1980s, Jobs was overseeing the development of the Macintosh, a computer unlike any other. He was put in charge of the Macintosh project, a computer designed to be so intuitive that anyone could use it. He was obsessed with every detail, from the user-friendly graphical interface to the iconic smiley face that greeted users on startup. His goal was to create not just a machine, but an experience, a seamless and delightful interaction between human and technology. The launch of the Macintosh in 1984, with its famous 1984 Super Bowl commercial, was a masterpiece of marketing. The ad, directed by Ridley Scott, depicted a dystopian future controlled by a totalitarian regime called Big Brother, a clear allusion to George Orwell's novel 1984. Jobs wanted to position the Mac as a tool for creative expression and freedom. In contrast, the ad became one of the most talked about moments in Super Bowl history. However, despite its artistic success, the Macintosh initially struggled commercially. The expensive price tag and the lack of third-party software support made it less appealing to businesses and individual buyers. This was a bitter pill for Jobs to swallow. He had poured his heart and soul into the project, and its initial failure threatened to derail his career. Tensions began to rise within Apple. Jobs' management style was often abrasive, and his clashes with John Sculley, the CEO he had himself hired, became increasingly frequent and public. This culminated in a boardroom coup. In a shocking turn of events, the Apple board of directors sided with Sculley, and in 1985, Steve Jobs was forced out of the very company he had founded. In the wake of this upheaval, Jobs did something almost unheard of in the corporate world. He took time off. Instead of jumping to another company or starting a new venture, he took a break, traveling and reflecting on his life and career. He spent time with his family, reconnected with old friends, and even took up hobbies like pottery. It was a chance to step back, reassess, and recharge. After a few months of solitude, Jobs was ready to make his comeback. In 1986, he founded Next, a computer company that aimed to blur the lines between computers and other devices like TVs and telephones. While Next never achieved significant financial success, it did develop some groundbreaking technology, including object-oriented software development, which would later become a cornerstone of the Mac OS. This move was a bold risk that showcased his unwavering commitment to innovation. He was willing to take a step back from the spotlight to pursue his vision, knowing that the payoff might not come immediately. Meanwhile, Apple was facing its own challenges. Despite some successes, the company was still struggling to find its footing. In an effort to streamline its operations and stay afloat, Apple decided to acquire Next in 1996, a deal that brought Jobs back to Apple as an advisor. This wasn't a triumphant return. Jobs was older, wiser, but also more reserved. The carefree, free-spirited young man who had co-founded the company 2 decades earlier had matured into a seasoned executive. His years away from Apple had been far from a vacation. He'd used the time to hone his skills, learn from his mistakes, and most importantly, keep pushing the boundaries of technology and design. He quickly took over as interim CEO and began a ruthless campaign to save the company, cutting unprofitable product lines and refocusing on innovation. His return was like the arrival of a prodigal son, a homecoming that brought with it both joy and trepidation. Apple's employees were thrilled to have their co-founder back, but they also knew that Jobs wasn't in the habit of mincing words. He wasted no time in making his presence felt. He focused on developing a new operating system codenamed Rhapsody that combined Next's object-oriented code with the best features of Apple's existing systems. This operating system would eventually become Mac OS X, also known as Cheetah, a sleek, intuitive platform that set the stage for Apple's resurgence. Under Jobs' leadership, Apple began to turn around. He revitalized the Mac line with new models like the iMac, a colorful all-in-one computer that became a cultural icon. He recognized the importance of design and simplicity, making Apple products not just functional, but aesthetically pleasing. And he understood the power of storytelling, using it to connect with customers on an emotional level. He believed that technology should be beautiful, that it should fit seamlessly into people's lives, and that it should empower them to express themselves creatively. In 2003, Jobs unveiled another game-changing product, the iPod, a portable music player with a revolutionary user interface that made managing and playing music effortless. This iconic device changed how people listened to music, and it cemented Apple's position as a leader in consumer electronics. The iPod's success paved the way for the iPhone, a device that redefined the mobile phone industry. Unveiled in 2007, the iPhone combined the functionality of a mobile phone, a camera, and an internet browser in a sleek, user-friendly package. It wasn't the first smartphone, but it was the first to achieve mainstream success, popularizing touch-based interfaces and applications. In the midst of this success, Jobs was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He took a medical leave of absence in 2004 and underwent surgery. Despite the diagnosis, he continued to lead Apple and oversee the development of groundbreaking products like the App Store in 2008, which provided a platform for developers to create and distribute applications for the iPhone, exponentially expanding its functionality. This move not only boosted iPhone sales, but also created a thriving ecosystem of apps and services. In 2010, Jobs unveiled his final major product, the iPad, a portable tablet computer that bridged the gap between a smartphone and a laptop. The iPad's user-friendly interface and powerful applications made it a favorite among students, professionals, and casual users alike. Although Jobs didn't live to see its release, he had played a pivotal role in its development. Jobs stepped down as CEO in August 2011, citing health reasons. Sadly, he passed away on October 2011 at the age of 56. His death sent shockwaves through the tech industry and beyond. People mourned not just the loss of a brilliant innovator, but also the passing of a cultural icon. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1996, the company was on the brink, but under his leadership, it became one of the most valuable companies in the world. His influence wasn't just limited to the tech industry. His approach to design, his emphasis on simplicity, and his commitment to excellence left an indelible mark on fields ranging from fashion to music. Steve Jobs was many things: a visionary, a pioneer, a perfectionist, and a legend. He was a man who dared to dream big and worked tirelessly to make those dreams a reality. His story is a testament to the power of passion, the importance of staying true to oneself, and the impact one person can have on the world. I hope you enjoyed our video on the life of Steve Jobs. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.